Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we got some good news for people who are looking to visit San Juan. We have a cruise ship that has canceled a 21-day sailing, transatlantic, no less, repositioning cruise. We have Royal Caribbean once again overselling one of their cruise ships. And then we have another Royal Caribbean ship that unfortunately is undergoing some maintenance and repairs and can't reach speeds, and it's had some issues on its current sailing, its next sailing, and maybe sailings in the future. So MSC just recently sent out a message to some of their guests who were planning on a November sailing, 21 days, leaving from Europe over to Brazil on the MSC Lyrica. It was supposed to make stops in like Italy and Greece and Spain and finally end up in Brazil, 21-day transatlantic. Coming up very, very soon in November, but they sent out a message saying that, yeah, that ship is no longer going to be making that sailing. Now, they must be making some big changes to this ship and making a lot of different things because they've actually scheduled the Sinfona to take over for that sailings that were happening in Brazil. So we're not sure what they're doing with the ship. We don't know if it's going into dry dock. They don't know if they're going to keep it in Europe. We're not sure yet. All we know is, yep, they've canceled the 21-day sail. Next, we have some good news for people who are, hoping to go to see San Juan in Puerto Rico, but they were booked on, say, Royal Caribbean's Icon or Symphony of the Seas. And yeah, that dock's been down for over a year after the collision in a mooring. Well, it has finally been approved now by the Coast Guard. That dock is now reopened so the large cruise ships like Oasis class ships can finally redock in San Juan. For months and months and months now, we've heard stories of changing itineraries because the San Juan dock is no longer available to Royal Caribbean. So I'm sure the cruise line's happy and people who want to visit San Juan will be happy as well. It took over a year to fix a dock. That is some slow construction work. We're not sure. A lot of the hassles, I guess, that were happening with it were legal actions between the dock, the country, and the cruise lines, and the insurance companies. None of them wanted to pay. But eventually, they had to get it fixed one way or the other. They were losing a ton of money from docking fees, etc., from those large cruise ships. So at least it's open and people can get back to visiting San Juan. Now, some troubles that are going on right now on the Independence of the Seas. She's just finished up a sailing where on their way to Amsterdam, they were, got a letter saying, yeah, we've had to slow down. We're having maintenance issues. There are some problems and our Amsterdam stop is going to be affected. They ended up spending just under 5 hours in Amsterdam, which is way less than they planned. One of the issues, of course, now is they don't dock in Amsterdam. They dock in Rotterdam over an hour away by bus, which means that's 2 hours of transportation, which greatly affects how much time you could obviously spend in Amsterdam. But the ship is scheduled to arrive today back in Southampton for a Norwegian adventure on their next cruise. And they've already been told that their very first stop, they're not going to make. They've canceled it completely and are issuing some onboard credits depending on the cabin type that you're on and apologizing. No idea yet if that's going to affect more stops with less time, and no idea yet if that's going to affect upcoming cruises that are, who knows how long this maintenance is going to be. It could be just needed to get back to Southampton and maybe get some engineers on board to help out in a new part. However, yeah, they've already been told that first stop is already gone. So if you're going on the Independence of the Seas anytime soon, expect some delays in your travel. Now, speaking of interruptions in your travel, we have once again Royal Caribbean, this time on the Liberty of the Seas, is sending out some messages to a couple of cruises saying that, yeah, we're hoping you're excited about your vacation, but hey, we have an offer for you if you would like to move it over. And they're giving them like 3 different months of sailings on various sailings on the Liberty or on the Symphony of the Seas. And if you move over, you will get the same cabin category, and you will get 100% refund for your cruise. Which of course, if you can cruise at any time and you're retired and you can move things around, that's a great offer. That's an absolute great offer. However, if you are booked and you can't change your plans, don't worry, don't panic, because all they say is, please mark the email that they've sent you as read and get ready to enjoy your sailing. Now, this is happening more and more lately, because in the past, and this is the way it still currently works, but in the past, cruise lines, especially cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, will book guaranteed cabins, right? When you're going on board, you're seeing the sail away cabin or the guaranteed cabin, which means they will choose the cabin and they will place you in it close, like a week before the cruise. And you're usually getting it at a lower rate, usually a few $100s, sometimes $400 or $500 cheaper than if you choose the cabin yourself. Now, these are the cabins that are at risk, the ones that are on guarantee. And in the past, the cruise lines haven't been as full. The cruise ships haven't been sailing at 110 to 115% capacity. And so there are always people who will back out at the last minute. Something happens. Somebody has, a job change. Somebody has a financial trouble. Somebody has to go in for surgery. Somebody has a wedding pop up. Something pops up and people cancel their cruise. Well, with the prices of cruises these days and the busyness of the cruise ships and the cruise lines, this is happening less and less and less, which is catching Royal Caribbean a little off guard, which is why you're seeing these offers. Now, they may have to adjust their planning in the future to maybe count a few less people canceling their cruises beforehand, or they're just going to continue the way they are right now and see what happens, because eventually the cruise boom is going to start slowing down with all the things going on with prices and cost of living and turmoil in the world. Things might start to change. However, right now, they're getting more and more times that I have to announce, yep, if you want to move your cruise, they're offering you these offers, because they're oversold once again. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Do you think cruise lines should be allowed to oversell? I mean, once final payment is done, they're paid for that cabin. It's not like, surprise, they don't get paid for that cabin anymore. It's already paid for. So they're actually selling the cabin twice for people who cancel within that time, because they're getting the money from the insurance to get refunded. They're not getting the money back from the cruise line. So let me know, do you think this is a good policy? Do you think they should be allowed to do this? Or heck, I like it because I would take that offer in a heartbeat. New cruise for free and my money back. Sign me up every time. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.